Well, this one's going to be a shorter one. Sonic Labyrinth is a spin-off game for Sonic the Hedgehog series that, get this, I can actually make a full video on. Now, this is still a shorter game, but I did do a full playthrough of this game, and while I didn't get the best ending, I still beat this one. Eventually, I'll get into Sonic's spin-off episode, and I'll probably mention this game and, review it in that video. But for now, this is fine. This is a spin-off game that came out on the Sega Game Gear, Sega's portable answer to the Game Boy, all the way back in 1995. There isn't a lot in the development corner here. I have no idea why they made this game. I'd like to say this is the handheld version of Sonic 3D Blast, but Sonic 3D Blast, as well as Sonic Blast on the Game Gear, came out in 1996. And yeah, Sonic 3D Blast actually took inspiration from this game. At least that's what I read. Either way, the game itself is often considered the worst Sonic game of all time, but is it really as bad as something like Sonic 06 or Shadow the Hedgehog? Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric really is better than this game? I have my doubts. So let's get this show on the road. Let's do this and take on Eggman's Maze. What? What do you mean this isn't Tomb Raider? There's exploration. There's a maze-like puzzle. Yeah, okay. Sorry I didn't get to Tomb Raider yet, guys, but you're getting Sonic Labyrinth because I have other things I need to take care of first, and this game was kind of easy to feel a need here. So, let's get to the plot. Eggman is sick and tired of Sonic's shit. He sneaks into Sonic's house and replaces his shoes. Now Sonic is slow as butterscotch leaking through the snow. Eggman then decides to tell all of South Island that he has all the Chaos Emeralds and that Sonic is now slow thanks to the new shoes. Good job, Eggy. He also lets Sonic know that the shoes only come off with Chaos Emerald energy, and that Sonic will have to traverse the new Labyrinth, Eggman Land, to get them. Tails isn't here because he's on his own adventure, possibly one of Tails' spin-off games. Actually, the house Sonic is in could realistically be owned by Tails. Regardless, this is an incredibly stupid plot either way you slice it. Even if this is a spin-off with simplistic writing, this is just dumb entirely. Eggman challenging Sonic to a proper duel for Chaos Emeralds and his speed back would have been more interesting, turning Eggman into kind of, arcade. Without the murder. Oh, arcade, yeah. He's a Marvel supervillain who sets up elaborate levels in a place called Murder World. Anyway, it's kind of like that. Regardless, this is clearly not a Sonic game. This is a dumb story, and the reason could be a reference to Fatal Labyrinth? It's a roguelike adventure that Sega developed for this Genesis, and perhaps this is a Sonic tie-in to that game? Who knows? Story still sucks, though. Alright, let's talk about the visuals and music. First things first, don't do what I did. See, I have access to this game on Sonic Origins Collection, as well as, on the 3DS. But I stupidly opted to play the original Game Gear version, however, on my laptop, because it's much easier to record that way. Don't do this. Never play the Game Gear version. It's incredibly hard on the eyes and could cause actual seizures, which isn't fun. Luckily, this doesn't bother me too much, but it's still an eyesore. Given the effect that I'm talking about and didn't actually show, only really happens when Sonic gets a bonus item, but this is still really bad, and nobody should ever play the Game Gear version because of that. Luckily, they remove this particular flashing light syndrome thing in future releases, so yeah, that's why I'm saying don't play the Game Gear version. Outside of this, however, the game does look fine. The robots look fine, though some do kind of look out of place. The final level has sea monster robots. Eggman even becomes a floating head in the end, which is interesting, but makes no actual sense. The boss fights aren't too spectacular, but the spiked wall robot, that is actually kind of a neat idea. Now, musically, this game isn't the greatest either. The Game Gear had an awful sound chip, and while it really did try. This game has some nasty static sounds. Oh, there's still some okay to good tracks, though. Act 2 isn't terrible. The bonus stage music is decent. The ending credits are good. And the final boss track is very energetic. Overall, though, I wouldn't call these tracks keepers either. It's just music that works for the, particular scenario that you're going through. Overall, the charm works, but it isn't great, even in the newer releases. But at least the newer releases aren't causing you seizures, so there's that. Alright, let's talk gameplay, and this is going to be a simple one, guys. Sonic basically has two speeds in this game. He can move unbearably slow or insanely fast, depending on the situation. Yeah, I know, counterintuitive to the boots, isn't it? See, while his running speed makes snails seem speedy, Sonic still has access to the spin dash. This is great in theory, but in practice it sucks. See, the screen is very small and the spin dash has you going all over the place. It isn't hard to bounce over a ton of walls or even off an edge and die. Bonus, this is the only way you're attacking an opponent or a boss fight. So, how do you make this work? Well, it isn't super intuitive, but you can cancel the dash. See, if you press the button for the spin dash while you're already dashing, you cancel it out. There is a slight delay, but getting used to this is your best bet in actually managing this game. You can walk very slow, but there's also a time limit on how long you can be in each stage. Just so we're clear. You will eventually need to speed up, and you will eventually need to attack an enemy in some way, shape, or form. Just be prepared to either bounce all over the damn place very uncontrollably, or go right off an edge. Anyway, let's talk about the level design, and as I stated, each level has a time limit. There are a couple of things to do in each level. Number one, you need to find 3 keys hidden in that level. You know, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle had something similar to this, if I recall correctly. I only played the GameCube version, which is why I said Battle at the end of that, but, yeah, Knuckles had to do something similar to this. That's funny. Anyway, these keys, they can be in very obscure places or attached to robots which you'll have to destroy. Second thing you need to do is find the exit. This is pretty straightforward. You start out with the start door, but this place is just for show, maybe to help you get your bearings or trick you perhaps? Either way, it's pretty useless to you. You will also want to do those things in that order, as the exit is pretty worthless to you without all 3 keys. Outside of a few annoying levels though, nothing's too bad around this. Let's take this level towards the end of the game for a little bit of an example. It has a hidden platform right at the bottom of the screen that in a normal game would be a path to a secret or something like that. But here, it's a path to a key. You need to find this platform. I died here a lot just because of the freaking time limit and not knowing where to go. Unless you are incredibly lucky, you will never notice this stupid little platform as it's right at the bottom of the level. And it takes quite a while to become visible. What a pain. You're not just going to hang out at the bottom of the level and hope something happens, but that's basically what you have to do. Because of the screen being so small too, that doesn't help this. The last level is also a real beast, with actual mazes blushing. This place has a bunch of doors that disorient you completely. You go through one, you end up in a room. You go back through the door, you end up in a completely different room than what you started in. What kind of crap is that? The boss fights aren't too special either. They're all the wait for the weakness variety, and once you learn them, they're pretty easy to defeat. The final boss is actually the easiest in my opinion, and the first boss is actually the toughest. Either way, the levels aren't too bad here overall outside of the few examples that I mentioned earlier. So what exactly is there to do in this game besides, beat the game? Well, there's Chaos Emeralds and freeing some birds in the final level. Yeah, none of this is really secret. All but one of the Chaos Emeralds you get are more or less given to you from boss fights. You beat a boss and there you go. Hell, the final boss gives you actually 2 of these. There's only actually 6 Chaos Emeralds in this game. There's 4 areas. Each one has a boss fight. You do the math. You get 4 from beating the bosses. You get the 5th one from actually beating the game, which also counts as beating a boss, which is kind of stupid. And then you get the final one in a bonus stage. You can find a switch in a very specific level that opens up a bonus stage door. You enter it, and you get the Chaos Emeralds. The stage just gives you lives. When I say you get the emerald by entering the stage, I mean that literally too. You just walk in and you have the emerald. The game doesn't even bother telling you this. You just have it now. Now for the birds. So you have to beat the final level without the clock going under 2 minutes. Yeah, that's really hard because, as I stated beforehand, this level sucks with its doorways. They're very disorienting. Getting keys does increase your time, but you still don't have much time. The final level, remember, is one of the most annoying things ever. The only difference I saw in the good ending was text anyway. Either way, this isn't super intuitive or fun, so yeah. If you really want to play the game, I wouldn't go out of my way to get any of these 2 secrets. Given the Chaos Emeralds are not hard to get, especially the bonus stage one. And the other ones, like I said, you just get for beating the bosses. But that bird thing, no. No, thank you. That level was not fun. It was absolutely not fun. You'd almost have to have a map to even make it remotely possible. So, no. Alright. Sonic Labyrinth is awful. The story and secrets suck. The gameplay isn't great. And some of the levels are just plain annoying, while others are just dull. You know what? That's an apt description of the game. It isn't bad, but what isn't bad also isn't very good. The game is dull. My rating would say not great, and I guess that also works here. Either way, Sonic Labyrinth scores a 4 out of 10 from me. I don't think it's the worst Sonic game ever, but it's certainly near the bottom tier. It isn't fun to play. It's competent, sure. It functions like it's supposed to, neat. The issue is the game leaves Sonic fans wondering, why the hell? I don't mind Sonic being slow. It is a spin-off game, but nothing here really works to be fun. And yeah, it just works to be competent. This would have been better on the Master System with a bigger screen resolution, but even then, I don't think it would have been a super good game. It's a shame too, because I don't mind the idea of Sonic doing dungeon crawler work. Oh well, shame that the Game Gear lineup has some duds, especially since Sonic Labyrinth is one of the more talked about games on that damn console. Look, the Game Gear does have some good Sonic games. Sonic Chaos, Triple Trouble. Yeah, those are great. And the Game Gear Sonic 1 version is fun too. Sonic Labyrinth will forever remain unpopular though. That's all the time I have for it though. It's my birthday coming up, so I picked an easy one this week. Like, subscribe, comment, and enjoy the video. Take care, my minions. I'll see you in the next one. Ha 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 ha!